Hello and welcome to my review and unboxing of my brand new CZ527 FS chambered in 223 caliber. You might be asking why the full stock version? Well, I think it looks absolutely beautiful and I still don't have a full stock rifle in my collection. So, opening the box, first thing I see here are little steel scope rings that I ordered with my CZ. They are 16mm, which is unfortunate because I have a lot of 20 and 11mm, but well, CZ just has to have 16, right? And here we have our little bolt. It's quite tiny compared to others. Well, it's a Mini Mauser design. It looks very lovely polished, and it should work fine, I hope. And here we have our little rifle. First of all, let's just look at the documentation that's included. First of all, we get the manual. It shows the diagram, the assembly of the rifle and the bolt. Also, very interesting, here we have the little diagram how to adjust the trigger because it has a adjustable trigger. Some warranty information, a CD because yay, and of course a test target. The test target was shot at 50 meters with Gecko 55 grain ammunition and it has a very lovely group, which is awesome, meaning that the rifle is extremely accurate right out of the box. So let's move all of this junk out of our way and let's undress our little lady right here. Let's see what beauty it holds underneath this little black sock. And here it is, my CZ. And oh my, it's fantastically looking in real life. It's wow. That's the only word I can use to describe it. Fantastic wood, I love it. It doesn't have any mistakes in the wood as far as I can see. It looks fabulous. Let's look at the other side. First of all, here's the checkering. Very lovely. Wood, as I mentioned, no imperfections, no nothing. Here's the CZ527FS stamped right into the receiver, made in Czech Republic. Very, very lovely. And at the back here we have a rubber buttstock, because 223 kicks so badly, you know. Still better than some steel buttstock. So, basic operation. Here we have the bolt. Let's put it into the receiver to see how it functions. So far, very smooth. Needs a bit oil, but it will perfectly. And the trigger. Trigger is extremely light. Let's see the set trigger, which this rifle also has. Just simply push the trigger forward and slightly touch it. Wow, even lighter. I don't think I'm gonna like this, but as long as the trigger is adjustable, I think we'll be fine. But it's just ridiculous. You barely touch it and it just goes off. Might be good for hunting, but not so well for sport shooting, because I like to feel when the trigger goes. Next, let's look at the magazine. We get a standard 5-round magazine. I also ordered an additional 3-rounder to be more flush with the rifle. They are high quality, but they are quite expensive, about 45 a piece. At least they are nicely blued, and the Czech were kind enough to stamp the chambering on the follower. So if you have a lot of CZs, you don't mix them up. One thing I don't like immediately is the color coming off out of the magazine, because it's obviously rubbing against the rifle a bit too tight. I'll have to address this at some point and have it fixed, or just keep it so it looks like it's been worn quite a lot. So let's see if the magazine can actually hold 5 rounds as they said. This is the Cellier Bellet 55 grain, cheapest ammo I can find. But it still has quality and accuracy. Well, it's a bit tough putting those bullets in, probably because it's just so brand new and never been done before. It will hopefully get better with time, especially this 5th one is very, very hard to put in. And this is how it looks like, 5 rounds inside of this little magazine. One thing that I hoped it would work is the ability to accept stripper clips. I have a lot of them, but unfortunately it's just a couple of millimeters too short. Well, what a bummer. Well, unfortunately, just can't do anything about it. Well, at least I can feed it from the top and have it cycle that way. And ejection is also very lovely and straightforward. The rifle safety, flip it forward for safe, it won't go off, and back again to fire. As simple as that. It works, and that's most important. Now for the optics, I bought this Diamondback Vortex HP 4-16x42, which was the best bang for the buck that I could find, roughly 140 around there, 150, 140, which is a good price for the optic. It has a variable zoom range and it has a good looking crosshair. This is how it looks like before the assembly, and this is how it looks like after the assembly. One thing I was a little afraid is that the bolt would be catching right here on the scope, but unfortunately it's just the right amount of space left so it doesn't hit the scope and it can cycle easily and clearly. Because if I had a little bigger scope I would probably hit it, which is a problem because I couldn't cycle the rifle then. So, taking this little rifle to the range, the target is at exactly 100 meters, 109 yards. I immediately have problems with the little magazine, but let's see if it will work. Those are my first shots at the target. Here you can see the target. Let's see if I'm actually able to hit something and how accurate this rifle really is. Because I had some problems with the magazine feeding, I'll just feed it from the top. It works better this way. Let's see, round number 2. Adjusted the scope a bit in the meantime. Got a lovely group, now adjusting the scope a bit to see if I can center it, and let's see another couple of rounds. Now here are the targets. Now I've done the best with my second attempt. The third one I jerked the trigger a bit, but a little practice and they'll be all in the center. So regarding the positives and the negatives, firstly the positives. The rifle is very accurate straight out of the box. It looks absolutely beautiful. I love the wood finish on it. It's not too expensive if you can get it for a good price. It has a fantastic and extremely light trigger. So, regarding the negatives, arguably the worst part of this 527 design is the single stack magazines. Their low capacity, tricky to load, and those sharp corners on the feed lips will take chunks of your skin off, if you're not too careful. They're also about 45 apiece. The second worst part of the design is the narrow magazine well. The magazine must be inserted nearly perfectly straight, otherwise it catches. Now, even though the magazines are not the best thing about this rifle, I still love it, and it's still very accurate, straight from the box, no modifications necessary. And I do recommend this rifle, especially if you like the full stock version, otherwise you just get a carbine. Well, you won't be disappointed with this rifle, that's something I can promise you. And thank you for watching.